2024 was a chaotic year at Calgary City Hall. From tackling the housing crisis with a booming population to trying to salvage the Green Line LRT after the province pulled its funding. But for Mayor Jyoti Gondek, the rupture of the Bears Paw South feeder main that left a city of more than 1.5 million people rationing their water for months makes 2024 a year she'll never forget.
The break was a very serious situation. So obviously I knew that this was going to be something that we would have to come at from all angles, and it was going to be significant in terms of the resources needed, but I didn't know the magnitude of it, and frankly nobody did. We were still trying to get all the information. They told me about a potential fix that might work, but I wanted to see it. I wanted to understand what was happening. And then I met with Calgary Emergency Management Agency folks to figure out how we were going to address all of this. And I went to Bowness. And it was really when I went to Bowness that I realized there's a lot of folks that are waiting for information. They need to know that they're going to be okay. If they're not going to be okay, they need to know what that looks like. We didn't have everything we needed. We didn't have a firm solution, but we knew enough about what was happening, and I felt it was important to get that information out to the public. We were very concerned that the secondary system we had running, that it was going to be a little bit too much for it if we weren't able to reduce our water use. So it was a very simple ask. It was a very Canadian thing to do, to say, hey everybody, we need you to use a little bit less water. And then people started exchanging ideas with each other and with us. It really was that moment where we understood, okay, we can get through this together, and here's how we're going to do it. So I'm incredibly proud to be the mayor of a city where people pull together just because you ask them to.
You were Calgary's first mayor to ever face a recall petition. What was that experience like for you?
I don't think there's any elected official that would welcome a recall petition. It's just not something that you want to see, but it is something that you have to understand for what it is. And when that was launched, I took the time to understand who it was. And I connected with the individual and I said, you know, do you want to have a conversation about what your concerns are? And it was a very interesting discussion with him. He, in fact, even said, I didn't really want to launch it against you, but I figured more people know who you are. He was frustrated. He was frustrated with the economy. He felt like he wasn't getting the economic opportunities that he used to. So it was a great opportunity to understand what was behind the petition, but I'm not going to lie, it's hard to take. It was really tough on my family. And it also was something that was not clearly thought out in the legislation. We understand that there's a lot of changes that need to happen, and so at least those changes are going to happen now.
The City Council voted to approve further cuts to the Green Line at the end of July. Some were calling it a stub of a route. Do you think Council was a bit naive to believe that the province would continue to fund the project if it was so short?
Green Line is an interesting project. It has to start somewhere. If you look at the Blue Line and the Red Line, they all started somewhere. They all started with a good strategy downtown, and then they extended out over the years. And so Council made a decision that we would do the really difficult part first, because over the last 10 years, the value of the dollars that we had didn't keep pace with inflation or construction costs. So we were going to deliver the first phase in the most difficult area. We talked to both the federal and provincial government many, many times. And so when you ask, were we naive to believe that the province would remain our partner? We acted in good faith. We had a partner that issued us a letter that said, we agree with what you're proposing to build the difficult part first, and then we'll continue further. When you have that kind of a letter in hand, you have an agreement, you have an understanding. So to get the rug pulled out from under us on September 3rd saying, nah, we don't like it anymore, and our funding's gone, that basically killed the Green Line as we knew it.
I'm sure you learned so many lessons in 2024, but is there something that really sticks with you that you'll carry forward to 2025?
I think communication is probably the biggest lesson of this year. You know, starting from the single-use bylaw, where we did not do a great job of communicating with the public, to the water feeder main break, realizing very quickly early on that you have to get information out to the public. So my commitment to making sure that we are communicating often and in all kinds of ways with the public is something that I'll remain committed to.
Well, Mayor, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.